In this video, we interview a friend who is at Disneyland on opening day, his very unique personal experiences with the park, other friends' memories of the rides growing up, our special and unique Disney collection, and finally, we will show you how to get the least expensive tickets at Disneyland. So join us.
One of my favorite memories of Disneyland is the fact that I was able to be there on opening day. I was 4 years old, and it was the impressions of a 4-year-old are few and far between, but the one that I remember most was going through the entrance, and they always seem to lead you to the tunnel to the left after you get in the gates, and in the tunnel were these billboards that were built into the side of the tunnel that introduced everybody to each of the lands at Disneyland, Adventureland, Tomorrowland, and so forth. And I was small, and I remember holding on to the bottom of the frame and looking up, because everything is huge when you're 4 years old, and being in this tunnel and then looking at these pictures of these amazing things, the rocket ship, the TWA rocket to the moon, and so forth. And then I walked out of the tunnel, and all of a sudden I was in Disneyland, and this was opening day, and it was like I didn't realize that at the time, but as I've grown older, I understand it was a very special moment. And beyond that, I just remember everything just being big and large and colorful and exciting and so forth. And that's my initial memory of the first time that I was at Disneyland. Several of the Indians that worked in the Indian Village, which was a very important part. Keep in mind, we're talking the 50s here, so the things that Disney was putting out to the public were things that people were familiar with at the time. There was no Star Wars or any of that type of thing then. So Indians and cowboys and all the western part of Adventureland and so forth was a huge part of what Disneyland was. So the Indian Village, they had the canoes, and the Indians would row around the river and so forth. Well, a couple of them actually lived on our property, and so I knew them. And also one of the chiefs that was in charge of Disneyland's Indian Village was named Chief Shooting Star, and he was actually a family friend of my father's. Before Mr. Lincoln was ever brought to Disneyland, it was actually shown at the World's Fair in 1964. And I was there, and I actually went in and participated in that, and I was with the Boy Scouts. It was the National Jamboree that year at Valley Forge. So that was another thing. And of course, for me, Disneyland by that time was like, oh, no big deal, you know. And so, but here was these new rides that eventually were moved to Disneyland, which included It's a Small World. I was at Disneyland when Guy Williams, who was Zorro, had a whole scene done in Adventureland with Sergeant Garcia and a couple of the soldiers and so forth. And he actually had a sword fight with them, and he jumped off the roof onto his horse, reared his horse, and actually rode away into the little backlot that they have there. So I've actually had a lot of experiences at Disneyland. It is the happiest place on earth as far as I'm concerned.
One of my favorite memories from Disney is actually from, I was like 4 or 5. Our family had gone on a 6-week trip. My dad was self-employed, so he had some time off looking for work, and he actually just took us, and one of the things we did was Disney. And we went across all kinds of places, but Disney was one that stuck out in my mind. I remember the great big, I can't even remember the name of the ride, but it was like these great big tires that you sat in. The air came up from underneath and lifted these things, and you just lean back and forth and make these things, and it was kind of like bumper cars with great big legs. The other thing I remember from that trip too was my sisters crying on the Alice in Wonderland ride, which is the most benign ride you ever saw. But at the end, it comes out over these leaves, and they got all scared because you're outside of the ride now. You're out you can see people walking around. They're thinking they're going to just drive off the edge of this thing, and they were just scared to death that they were going to ride off the edge of the leaves there on the Alice in Wonderland ride. Those are a couple of my memories.
So one of my favorite Disney memories as a little girl was going on the submarines. And back then, they actually had real mermaids in the water. And I was so thrilled to see a real mermaid swimming in the water from the submarine windows. And that's my best memory of Disneyland.
This zebra costume is an original from the Lion King celebration, which was a parade based on the animated film The Lion King. The costume is missing the zebra headpiece. The parade ran at Disneyland from 1994 to 1997, after which 4 of the floats were moved to Disney's Animal Kingdom in Florida for a new parade. The Lion King celebration featured the first use of audio animatronics in a Disney parade. 89 cast members performed in the Lion King celebration. This included 56 dancers, 12 puppeteers, 10 acrobatic pole dancers, 6 musicians, and 5 remote control operators. So a very fun piece of Disney history. Okay, well, let's try this. This is an original Tower of Terror costume, but it never made it inside any of the parks. This is what you call a prototype or test costume. When Disney Imagineers design rides, they not only want a certain look for the ride, but also for cast members. This test costume gave the Imagineers a good hotel bellhop look, but the colors were found to be too bright, so they decided to go with darker colors to give it a more terror, zombie-like feel. So this is a very unusual, one-of-a-kind costume. Yes, we do! This drawing of Sorcerer Mickey is an original drawing that was used in the show called Drawn to the Magic. The show included 3 singing Disney animators, some familiar Disney songs, and visits by the characters that were drawn. Okay then, here's a very special Christmas fishing pole. This original fishing prop was used in Goofy's house as part of the float in Disney's Christmas Fantasy Parade. The fishing pole would normally have a bucket attached to it, and Pluto or Max would lower it down to Goofy. Here's Nick Cannon to tell you all about it.
Now here's a house that's one big ant problem waiting to happen. The baker did a nice job, but the real architect of this edible edifice is Goofy. I hope there's some dog biscuits in the oven because Pluto looks a little hungry.
Our fishing pole would still be on the float, but it developed a crack and was replaced. So there you go, a very Merry Christmas prop from Disneyland. Okay, thank you for watching the first part of the video. Now I'm going to show you how to get super discounted tickets at Disneyland. What you want to do is go into the Disneyland website. You want to click on search, and you're going to type in the word credit card. Then hit the search. You're going to click on Disney Premier Credit Card. Once you click on there, you're going to see this wonderful special that Disney has currently going on right now. So if you apply for the Disney credit card, they're going to give you $400 back for just applying $500 on the credit card. $200 as a Disney gift card. The other one is going to be a statement credit. Disney gift cards can also be applied towards tickets. There is an annual fee of $49, so basically you're getting $350 of free money back from Disney by applying for their credit card. Once you do that and you get accepted, you can go back here to theme park tickets. And what we're doing is we're going to buy the least expensive ticket that Disney has for the day. The least expensive ticket that Disney actually has is a ticket for $104 on certain days. We are planning to go in September, but there are many other days available. August, for example, has the 19th, 20th, 21st, the 25th, the 26th, the 27th, the 28th. For September, we are going on September the 9th. So if you're at Disneyland at September 9th, hey, we'll see you there. For September, they have the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th. They have the 9th. They have the 16th, 17th, and 18th. So if you want to go days in a row, you can certainly do that. October, they will not have any discounted tickets because of Halloween. November is November 3rd, November 4th, November 5th, 10th, the 11th, and 12th. Then after that, you have Christmas, so the prices go up, and then they'll start discounting again in January, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Now, their calendar as of this date of the video only goes right now to the 10th of January, but they'll have plenty in January, plenty in February. And then obviously when spring break comes up, then they'll start increasing prices again. But for example, if we want to just show what the final price would be, you can click on the ticket rate of $104. You can hit Disneyland Park because that's going to be the best park of the two. But if you just want the basic ticket, it's going to be $104. Disneyland does not charge any fees on that 104, and they do not charge any tax. In the state of California, unlike Florida, California does not charge tax on theme park tickets. So if you're going to do a single day in Florida at the Magic Kingdom, which would be equivalent, let's say, to Disneyland, you're looking at about $157 would be the least expensive because there's tax involved on that, as well as there's a surcharge for that particular park. So anyway, I hope that helps you with your planning. But for us, we've applied for that credit card. And so in our particular case, not only are we going to Disneyland for the day for free, but we're going to have money left over that we can either use towards food or probably for another least expensive day at Disney in 2026. I hope this helps. Thanks again. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today. If you get a chance, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Thank you.